Welcome back to the Mind Goals podcast, hosted by yours truly, Siobhan Higgins, sport and performance psychology consultant, professional soccer player, yoga instructor, and soccer coach. The Mind Goals podcast is a space that I hold for myself, athletes, and other athletic personnel so that we can converse and discuss how we acquired the mindset that we have today, all with the goal in mind that any viewers or listeners can overall improve their mindset as well. I was going to say I'm trying to change my intro from stop saying I'm so excited for this guest to come, but the matter of fact is that I'm always excited for my guests to be on. And this one particularly is going to be a huge catch up because I haven't seen my friend in so many years. But today I am very excited to welcome on a member of our United States military and former Army rugby player, Tony Smith.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
It was a mouthful, yeah?
Yeah, it was great. No, I love it. You crushed it.
Thanks. Yeah, every time I have someone on, I'm like, I'm super excited. But you know what? I'm excited.
No, I'm glad. Thank you. I feel seen.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have you here.
Awesome.
Tony is originally from Houston.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're currently in?
So I'm at Fort Cavazos, which is like in Killeen, just an hour south of Austin.
Okay. So happy to have you here for the weekend.
Yeah, this is good. It's like a less than 3-hour drive. So
perfect.
Yeah, it's been good.
Still got
good to be here.
Yeah. It's always difficult to coordinate with people, whether they're in an off season or having a break, but you're able to visit Houston quite often?
Yeah. So since I'm right now I'm a recovery unit, I get to just heal up and kind of work through a lot of the things that either I went through sports, or just some mental health stuff that I've been struggling with over my years. So on weekends are pretty much free. As long as I go to my appointments throughout the week, to my mandatory activities, I can kind of have the weekend to myself. Nice. Stay within a 250-mile radius, so which is Houston. It's perfect. So I kind of spend the weekend here and then head back.
That's nice. Yeah, good for you then.
Yeah.
Tony, I am so excited to ask you so many questions and catch up. And just so you know, obviously, for the pod, I like to ask things as if nobody knows.
Yeah.
So, and for me, I'm going to be learning a lot as well.
Yeah.
But I do like to start by introducing how we know each other. Yeah. And our first memories are from middle school.
Yeah. Middle school.
We were just talking about, I know.
Back junior high.
Yeah, back junior high. Go Bulldogs. Yeah. Funny times, but that was so long ago.
Yeah.
To think and look back. I remember you just being the nicest person, always kind, always respectful, and I'm pretty sure you're still that. So
that's right.
those are my first memories of you. Tony was just
it.
The nice guy. Funny too.
Yeah, a little funny. I think I was a little goofy back in my day.
Yeah.
Played band, did band. I remember doing band.
Yeah.
Tried to do basketball, but I stopped growing in 8th grade, so I had to give that up.
Well, no one would know because this is a sit-down show.
Yeah, exactly. I'm 5'8", 6'5". But no, I loved it. I think a lot of us were just trying to figure out who we were, and I think for me, going into sports was my identity, and it helped me get out of my shell. Because I was 4 foot nothing, getting into just how to do sports, how to talk to girls, how to freaking get ready for high school, because we're going to a huge high school with all these athletes. Everybody wants to play on varsity, so it's a big thing. But nah, it was fun. Learned a lot.
It was good. I enjoyed it personally.
Yeah.
And I feel back junior high prepared us for the next school. I mean, I had to go to Seven Lakes because we did the whole zoning thing.
Rivals, we still love you.
Yeah, likewise. Friendly fire.
Yeah, definitely friendly fire.
So like I said, we haven't spoken in years. I really couldn't tell you the last time I saw you. Maybe a high school football game.
I think it may have been a football game. I may have been to a couple of soccer games here and there, because y'all were just both teams were really good that year. We had a lot of good athletes within our year, but it was probably around 2013, 2014.
Yeah, so over 10 years ago. So we do have a lot of catching up to do in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But my first question to you is, how did you decide, or actually, what was your first step after graduating high school?
So first step, right? So I applied to United States Military Academy. And I have to put this disclaimer out here, obviously, like with, Army and everything, but all my views, do not view do not represent the DoD essentially. But I had to get that cleared through like legal, JAG, but I know what I need to say and what I don't need to say. But yeah, I had, got my acceptance into West Point. I wanted to go to the Air Force Academy, but, Ted Cruz denied my nomination, and that's okay. Pete Olson accepted my nomination to West Point, but I got into the prep school.
Question.
Yeah.
Sorry, and this is going to happen. I'm
you're
not
good,
trying
good.
to interject, but I'm really here to understand. Could you have gotten rejected at West Point?
Oh, yes. So,
Okay. What's the criteria?
When you apply, right? When you're applying to like the academy, and I think it was cool because I think I had Bill Waters, and then oh man, it's off the tip of my tongue. Who went to Air Force? He's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. He went to Air Force Academy. Jack. Yeah, Jack went to Air Force Academy too. But you apply, you do like a candidate fitness assessment.
Okay.
So it's like 2 mile run, like or 1 mile run, ball throw, do some like agility drills. You got to get nominations from teachers, of course, like you're applying to any other like school. They look at your like GPA, they look at like your big picture type of thing, but they really look at like, they don't look at just your grades. It's like the big like picture, like how's your character, et cetera. Like, are you volunteering in school?
Yeah.
And then the big thing is the nomination. So you have to get a nomination from either a senator, representative, the president, vice president, etc.
How does that happen? How does one get a nomination?
Yeah. So you look on so you can go online, and like to like maybe like, so when Air Force Academy. So I looked up Ted Cruz's website, and like there's like a nomination for like academies. In my junior year, I went to this summer seminar to Air Force Academy. So it's like a kind of a summer experience for you to get like a taste of how like the like academies would go. And so when I went there for a week, going to my senior year, I loved it. I fell in love with it. Like you had people that were like from all walks of life, but just had like a same vision and like mentality of like, we want to get better. We want to serve the country. Like, and so it felt like a team like kind of aspect. So I just kind of rode with that, and that's why I applied. But yeah, you get your nomination. You either send like a 3-question thing to their office. So their secretaries will look at it and they'll give you a yes or no. Or I did the same thing with Pete Olson, and I actually had to go in and interview with like a 3-man panel.
Wow. So
it was like either a colonels in like the Army or like Navy, like it was like Army, Navy, and like another like gentleman, but they're all like former military. And so it's like you and like your little briefcase or like your little folder.
Gosh, yeah.
And then just like these like grown men, like with
pretty
all this,
intimidating.
with like their badges and like awards. You're just like, oh my gosh. And so they ask you all these questions like, oh, like, why do you want to like be in the Army? Like, why do you want to go to West Point?
Which is my question. Why did you want to? Yeah, I mean, what, like back then, 18-year-old Tony, like what was your reason?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I think so. I personally, like, one of my mentors was like, rest his soul, like Richard Glover. And so he took his life on my birthday, a month after I graduated.
I'm so sorry.
From West Point. But I literally aspired to be like him. So like from junior high at Beck, when he was like a senior or like junior, senior, I would like literally look at his film. He was like more of like a undersized, stocky guy. So, you know, he had like the highest squat. I was like 625 at the time. So I like chased that. And then he ended up playing football at West Point. So I wanted to be a West Point football player. But on top of that, like since I went through the summer experience, like I was like, man, I love being around people that are going to make me better.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be elite. Like I want to be at the big table with everyone else. And if I'm going to be there, I got to show up and like be around it. Even if everyone's better than me, like I'll soak up. Like you are who you hang out with.
Definitely.
So that was like the overarching, like, hey, like I want to be at the big table. Like I want to eat too. And so once I got in, I mean, I just kind of had that mentality. and kind of took it like from there.
Okay, nice. So that was your entry into it.
Yep.
And then everyone says getting there is the easy part. And then once you get there, the real grind starts.
That shit was hard.
Yeah. Could you tell me about it?
Yeah.
I truly should know more. My dad's probably like
No, you're good.
shaking his head. But what was the process like? Like what is, obviously it's a completely different college experience than anyone else is going to have. What did your first month look like?
Yeah, so it was interesting because I had two like entries into there because I went through their prep school first and then I went in as a freshman.
Okay.
But my prep school is like, I call it like a redshirt year essentially.
Okay.
Or it's like when people go to like football schools or like a JUCO and then they go to like school.
Okay.
So I would explain it like that.
Okay. What was your prep school then?
So it was at West Point.
Okay.
So the former one was at Fort Monmouth, New Jersey.
Okay.
But they had moved it to West Point. And so we were literally up the hill, but we have like this thing called, it's like CCBT, which is like Cadet Candidate Basic Training. So you have NCOs that have served in the Army or have served in like, it's no one else. Like it was probably, it was fully Army the whole time, but they would come in and you would like be treated like a private. It's like basic training. So they're literally like breaking you down. Like literally, they literally say it, we break you down to build you up. Like, I'm telling you, you can't, like, wake up calls at, like, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, hey, we just finished this workout. And you have 5 minutes to be back outside.
Oh, God.
Like, and so I'm, like, stressed out. Like, I can't find my shirt. I don't know where that is. Like, and so it's building, like, your resolve of, like, hey, like, next thing.
Yeah.
Next thing.
High performance training at all
at all costs. And it's just like, hey, next thing. Like, hey, like, wake up. We're going to go on a 5-mile run. And then after this 5-mile run, you're going to sit in a room, an auditorium, and like have to listen to like a general and not fall asleep. Because if you fall asleep, you're going to do wall sits. If you fall asleep, like the whole squad's going to suffer and we're going to be doing push-ups until we get tired or until they get tired.
Yeah.
So it's like those type of things.
Okay.
Just building like your resolve. And then, don't get me wrong, with eating, like you couldn't talk when we ate. So it was like, you literally like, you'd show up.
Do you know the reason why? That's just me being curious.
I think it was more of a discipline type of thing where it's like, hey, you can communicate without talking. So like
yes, you can.
So it's like, and so we would like literally have to, in both incidents when I was at the prep school and then when I was a freshman, we would have to like ask permission to like, hey, you know, we're all prepared. Like we set the table, like we're literally setting the table. Like you set it for everyone else and no one eats until everyone else eats. Which is kind of, you're building that team. You're building that like kind of camaraderie.
Yeah.
You're asking for condiments. Like you got to like ask permission to get a condiment. Like I can't just grab the barbecue sauce or ketchup.
Okay.
You got to ask it from like things of that nature. But I think it's just building that discipline, building that like structure of, hey, like you got to earn what you want type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is month 1.
This is month 1. And that's like the easy part, personally, because you're literally being told where to go, what to eat, how to sleep. Like you get good sleep. You just get woken up like early in the morning. Like your days are like pretty much done. And then you get, you know, mine, you like 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but you're waking up at like, you know, in the morning. So after that, it was, I think it was like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, we go into the school year. And so that's when like at like West Point, like everyone's like considered an athlete. And so you have to play a sport. So for me, I obviously chose football because I was like, I'm going to jump into the footsteps of Richard Glover and be amazing. And so, we have our classes. The prep school is like kind of weird because it's like, just think community college. Because then like the way they recruited people is that there's athletes that got recruited to the prep school, and then there's like a freshman class that got recruited to like West Point. So we fielded a whole team.
Okay.
But we were playing like JUCOs.
Okay.
Like Lackawanna, like different like football universities, stuff like that, which was like interesting. But we had like our own little, it was just regular school. We lived in the barracks. So like we didn't have like dorm rooms, but
Yeah.
we called them barracks. So it was literally all attached. So you had three
was gonna
companies.
ask.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
yeah.
had three companies.
Okay.
It's like Alpha Company, Bravo Company, Charlie Company.
Okay.
3 floors. And then everything was like connected to where you would have the classrooms. And then,
Ooh.
so you could walk through the classrooms. You could literally stay inside, walk to the classrooms. The DFAC is like right there. And then you extend out, you have like the athletic training facilities. And so it was like all one. I loved the prep school because it was like my red shirt. I called it like red shirt adult year, essentially, or red shirt like West Point year. Because everything was connected. We were so close, right? We were like locked in, and we lost a few, right? Some people quit.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
yeah, what's the drop-off rate? Because,
Let me see. I think, so my class, we started with like 1,260. I think we graduated like just under 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah. But people drop like day one. Like, yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, I think, what's that one actor, Shane Gillis? He talks about like how he.
I'm not good with my actors.
Yeah, Shane Gillis talks about how he got into West Point and he got recruited to West Point. And he said on the first day, he was like, yeah, like I'm done. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, like can't do this.
I mean, I
was like, I get it, bro. Now that I get it, like I understand. Like if I had that mentality, like I would have been like, all right, like time to go to Texas A&M, UT, and be at Pike or something, like I would just chill. I'm just being honest. Like
I'm laughing because Taylor went to A&M.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm applying for my PhD there.
Nice.
Yeah, like I gig him. I was there last weekend. I like live vicariously through them. My buddy's a senior right now.
Like one time I'll have my moment.
Yeah, exactly. I will have my moment.
You'll have my college experience.
You're all invited there.
We'll come to the ring dunk.
Like Tony, you're like literally 34. I don't care.
Who cares? No, get that education.
I don't care. But yeah, so.
Okay, so you had like a red shirt year per se.
And so that, and I'll like kind of speed through that because the 4 years there was crazy, right? Essentially, I was there. It was good. I walked into the football team, was 6th string.
Okay. Which also, sorry, I apologize then because I thought that you were only in the rugby team.
Exactly. So there's this shift, right? So I originally wanted to play football.
Okay.
And so I walked into the football team. I was 6th string. Didn't really get as much like playing time, but I worked my way up to 2nd string.
Nice.
And one of my best buddies, I always give him a shout out, Darnell Woolfolk. He's amazing. He was like one of the best like fullbacks to go through the academy. I was his backup, and so I was gonna play.
You're like, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I was cool with that. Like I tell him, like by the end of his senior year, he was getting like going to mini camps for like the New York Giants and like Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow.
So it's like I'm good, bro. Like I'm good. But yeah, that's after that season. And I was like, I don't want to run into the politic game of like retrying out when I go there. I'm not recruited. And they're already having like guys that are already going down there.
Yep.
Because I played fullback, right?
Okay.
Because I wasn't playing any other position, like lineman. I played lineman in high school. Like, come on.
You're like, that's different now.
Yeah, no. It's Division I. And so after that, I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I think what woke me up was like, we were playing against this team, and I forget, it was like JUCO team. This 6'3", 330-pound lineman picked me up and dropped me on my head. And I got up and I was like, I'm good, coach. My helmet was like this way, sideways.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, yeah, you're good.
And you're like, yeah, football's not for me.
You're done. You're done. He's like, yeah, you're not going back.
Were you okay? Did you get a concussion or anything? Oh, wow.
I didn't remember. I was like, I'm fine though. I'm good. They're like, yeah, we saw the hit. You're not fine.
Damn.
And so after that, I was like, yeah, like I love football, playing like, but I picked up rugby. And the thing with rugby is like, it fits all shapes and sizes. Like, and a lot of guys, like they're just other athletes, like ex-wrestlers, soccer players, a lot of soccer players. Some football players, but the best players are like the soccer and like wrestlers are like the best like rugby players. And track stars, obviously, because they got the speed.
You're right. There are a lot of different athletes in it.
Yeah. So that's where I shifted to rugby there.
And wait, do you have to be in a sport?
Yeah. So if you're not in like so there's like obviously like your competitive D1 sports, but then there's club sports, and then there's like company sports.
Okay, but you have to be in a sport.
Yeah, you have to do something, and it could be like imagine
functional
functional fitness or something.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Crew. There's like grappling, judo,
Nice.
fencing.
Okay, right. A lot of options.
Yeah, a lot of options.
Okay.
And so that's what leads me to like my time freshman year at West Point. And like that within itself, it was 6 weeks. So it was 6 weeks of like basic training.
Okay.
And that's like the grand like, oh, you're coming in, the big like parade show, uniforms marching in, parents crying. Like I think the big one my mom always tells me about is like when the people come up there, you're in this long line about to go to this the auditorium. So it's like building you up to like what you're about to like.
I'm getting adrenaline right now.
Right? You're like, oh shoot, like you're in line with all your bags packed. Literally all your bags packed. And like and you got like officers and like their kid, like you just get off of a bus or whatever. And so you're just like, all right, like some people are sizing each other up, right?
Yeah.
The athletes are like, all right, like that's gonna be my competition, etc. And then you go into this auditorium and it's like full of like moms, dads, and like your future classmates. And this like general or like, I think colonel comes on there and he's like, I can't remember the words, but he's like, welcome to the United States Military Academy. He like pauses. He's like, you're about to embark on like a long journey for like 47-month experience that will change the directory of your life as you know it. You're going to lead America's sons and daughters into combat and change like lives, like for good.
Wow.
And you'll never be the same. Like that's the first.
That is so powerful.
Yeah, right. And he's like, now you have 60 seconds to say goodbye.
Oh my God.
To your parents.
Damn.
Right. And like go to the back. Like you have 60 seconds. I think it's 30 seconds.
Were you prepared for that? Like that time?
I think a lot of the prepsters, so we call ourselves prepsters.
Okay.
The guys that went to prep school for a year, we had already been through that.
Okay. You've been through like, you were like, okay.
We're like, oh.
But did you know you had like 30, 60 seconds to say goodbye? Okay. No. So you're all like, you're like, let's go, move.
Like, all right, let's go. Like, I think like since I had that first year, my parents like psychologically knew what was going on, but the other parents, and we call them like direct admits, the people that were getting in straight in.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So they were distraught.
Oh, yeah.
They were expecting like a day of like pictures, like be able to walk. Oh no, it's not like that.
And some of them, like I think realize, but some people go in there blind.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
it's just like recruits, right? Mm-hmm. Because they get told like certain things. They're like, like you won't have to serve. Oh, like it'll be fine. And he's like, why am I wearing this uniform? I'm fighting for who?
I'm trying to picture myself if I somehow got recruited and then I'm just like going in there. I'm like, what's going on?
War?
Okay.
So like that's the mentality of some people. And so,
wow, what a shock to the system.
No, but literally I remember telling people, they're like, yeah, like they told us like we didn't have to do anything. Like we would just like go to class and like work out and do football or like do sports.
You're like, yeah, you will be doing that. And defending our country.
Defending our country and fighting for our rights. But like, and you got to make your bed up and you got to go to formation. You got to wear uniforms. And like, you need to, if you miss class, you're going to walk tour hours and you're not going to like leave on a, 3 to 4 months because, you messed up and missed class.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to sleep in. Yeah. Which is wild to me. My buddy last week, he's like, yeah, I just didn't want to go to class today. I said, okay. I try to do that. Like, I'm talking to one star. Like, why are you not in class? It's like, I just overslept. That's now you get 10 walking hours, which is like tours. So you have a courtyard, and imagine you're like a full uniform, and you have your weapon with you, and like I don't care what weather it is, it could be rain, sleet, like cold. It's like obviously cold in New York. You just walk back and forth. On a weekend, just walk back and forth
for an hour or hours.
So it can be, I think you get you can only do 8 hours in a weekend. And so imagine someone with 100 hours, right? Because they got like an alcohol board or like they, had sex in the barracks or something like that, or cheated on something, did something, or like they missed curfew or they missed class. Depending on like your leadership, they'll give you like walking tours. But the athletes, got like study hall hours because they couldn't, we can't hurt the athletes or anything, right? Okay. Walking, but
interesting.
Yeah, that's another. But
also, I'm just sitting here thinking like, all that time spent like in your own head.
Yes, and that's the biggest thing is like, dang, right? And then like this, and then imagine like you get it as a freshman, like where after all the stuff you went through, like 6 weeks of basic training, of doing pretty much the same stuff that you did. Like what I did is like, I mean, you're doing like level, marksmanship, like, firing machine guns, like light machine guns, throwing grenades. That was pretty cool. Like I think the coolest thing I did was like throw a grenade.
Yeah.
Because the like boom factor is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then, but you're running like, ambushes and raids into buildings and like clearing rooms. Like you're just doing a lot of like urban like activities, land navigation. I fell in like a river and lake one time, like waist deep. But just having to like figure it the freak out respectfully, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
You can say whatever you want.
No, figure the fuck out. Like, you gotta figure that shit out because you literally like are fighting for your life. Like it's either you or the other person. And so I think that's like was the mentality that I had to like think about, right? This isn't Katy, Texas.
Oh no.
Like suburbia, a gated community, please go off the property. This is literally like you're fighting for your life. It's either your life or theirs.
Yeah.
It's either your life and your soldiers' lives, which is like even more intense. And you have to answer to someone's, father, mother. Like, hey, like your son did this great. Like, do I want to do that or do I want to bring back everyone home? And so that was the mentality that they like breathed into us like since we got there on ground.
It's serious. I mean, it's not a joke.
Yeah, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
And I like the more I like invested into it, I drank all the Kool-Aid. Like I lived, breathed like Army, like West Point. Like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it well. I'm not gonna cut corners. I'm not gonna like feel like, oh, that's a teacher's pet. Are you taking this too seriously? Yeah, I'm taking this seriously.
Yeah.
Like we're literally like,
yeah,
people's lives are in our hands, and you're out here just like thinking this is a joke. And so I think over the years, right, I like ended up, walking onto the like, the football rugby team again. Did really well. Like I, minus all the injuries I had.
What injuries did you endure?
Right. First injury I had, and I always like, my sister like tore both her ACLs in like high school, and I always would give her a hard time. And Karma kind of came full swing.
Gave her a hard time.
Not a hard time, but like when she like did.
Yeah, it just set it in for me.
Bad, right? I felt bad. I know it gave you a
like,
little PTSD.
Your knees don't work. Like, what were you doing?
No, like, because like I would be like, oh, like either I don't know. She was like too. When she would be on the machine thing.
Yeah.
Like she'd be like
that bends your knee.
Yelling.
Oh yeah, because that shit hurts.
I was like, all right, like calm down. Yeah, I know. Now that I know, like I didn't give her that.
Oh my! You're like, dang, stop being dramatic.
Like, I was like,
wow, poor sister.
No, I was supportive. I but she tore both her ACLs
at the same time or just
different times.
Okay.
And like it was rough because she was a good basketball player in like track, but like I would always like joke and be like, oh, like tore both the ACLs, like. Not like in a mean way, but just like in a sibling way, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then what'd you do?
And then I tore my lateral meniscus in half my sophomore year.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, yeah. And and that sucked.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, like okay. And like my freshman year I did really well.
Did you also need a surgery to repair that?
Yeah. And so they did PRP. And so they actually like inserted like they took my blood, like did it in like a little thing. And then they inserted it back and they had stitched it back up.
That's cool. Pause. Also because Taylor works for a stem cell research company and we have an episode on stem cells. But
it was actually the coolest thing because I healed like back like that. And I came back stronger. Like I was like.
Love to hear that.
I was literally 6 months like post rehab and I was squatting 315 for reps.
Wow.
And like it was.
I love that feeling stronger after your recovery. You're like, whoa.
I felt even better. I was like, oh, perfect. Like. And then, right, mind you, I was in like with the Center of Enhanced Performance. So they had like a sports psych, like doctors and stuff. So I had that on top of like a really good like strength, like athletic trainers that are like grade A. But, talk about getting back to flexion, you're in your recovery, like being able to walk again, like being able to freaking run again.
Right. Isn't it crazy how the body just forgets and you have to teach it and you can't do something so basic as to like. Yeah. Pick up your leg when you want.
And cut.
And you're cutting, yeah. You're shaking, doing the most trivial thing. You're like, how am I ever going to get to where I need to be?
Yeah.
But one step at a time, you know it.
Yeah. And then I did the BFR.
Yeah. I call that the B for fucking real machine.
B fucking for real. Like,
it's called the blood. Yeah.
That shit sucks.
I know. For people who don't know, it stands for blood flow restriction.
Yeah.
And that thing squeezes the crap out of wherever you're putting it. And it's so painful. And I'm like, why can't I do this?
I'm like struggling. I said, it's my leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that healed me like more like that compared with like the, doing like the PRP and then having the sports psychology. Like I came back like really good because my freshman year I did pretty well.
Okay.
I was like one of two freshmen to like make it on like the, the national team, or not national team, the varsity team, the A team, where we played sevens in Philadelphia at like one of the championships.
Oh, wow.
And like it was cool. Like I played against like Arizona, Clemson, Maryland, like as a freshman. And I'm like, hey, like this is what I wanted to do, like in football. Like I wanted to be like a D1 athlete and play against cool teams and like be on television. Like this is awesome. And so like after like that year, and then obviously like the freshman year of like life, school life was intense, but like I, went full swing with like rugby. And
so this is all still in like a freshman year, right? When you change your, this seems like a long year.
It's a long year. It was the longest year of my life.
I was about to say.
It was the longest year of my life.
That is a long year.
Because I think that.
Very dense. You had an injury during your freshman year as well?
It was, so it was going to my sophomore year. So it's after.
Right. Like
everything.
the summer going into it. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It sucked.
Yeah, but it builds
resiliency. It built me up for sure. Like I literally, like by the time I left the academy, like nothing literally fazed me.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Like I felt
not that I can relate,
like,
but I'm assuming.
Yeah, like like the subtle art of not giving a fuck, that book, I felt unfuckable with. Like you could throw anything my way.
Okay, you're like that meme where like
is
you're like
on
nothing.
Fire?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And then the God said, yeah, okay.
And then and you're like, please, no.
Yeah, like I'm good.
He's like, oh, you're complacent.
Oh, you're good.
You're chilling.
Okay.
You relaxed.
Yeah. Yep.
What's next? What do I have next for you?
No, literally, and that's literally what was it. But yeah, my years there, like I love that place, and I'll always advocate for that place, and like they've done so much for me. Right. By the time I got to. Right, so I'll give you the little eaches of like the big events.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right, so you go in there. The big thing is affirmation, right? So affirmation is when you sign your contract for the Army, right? So you spend 2 years at the academy.
Okay.
And so the 2 years are essentially free. You have 2 years to decide if you want to stay there or leave, right? So that's pretty fair like contest. But what they don't tell you is about the pressure of like about to leave when you have teammates. You've experienced classes and all this other things, but they call it affirmation. So you sign pretty much the 5 years active, 3 years inactive reserves. So it's essentially 10 years because you have 2 years at the academy. Mm-hmm. You have 5 years active, and then you have 3 years inactive reserve. So you're signing the next 10 years of your life away.
At like 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
I know.
When I look back, I'm like, what?
I will say, I know that is wild, but also like back in the day, they were even younger.
Yeah, the draft and everything. I get that. Like,
but okay, not to like diminish anything, but no, it's just crazy to wrap your head around. Like I was a child, basically, is how I would have felt. Yeah, cognitively. Yeah,
like, and the thing is, like, right, you're not only doing that, but you have this like pressure of like, hey, like you got a nomination here. You have all these like recommendations. You got a whole schooling backing of you, right? Mm-hmm. How's it gonna feel like if you like leave?
Yeah.
And that was in the back of my head too. I was like, I gotta prove them wrong, right? Which is like good and bad.
Yep.
Because then like who are you really doing it for? Mm-hmm. And so that's where I found myself like doing things for like other people's pleasure and stuff. But whatever. That's another. I can get into that, but that like I stayed, of course.
That's something I am curious about, but if you think it would be too long of a story, then...
Oh, we'll get there. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get there.
We got it.
But in that moment of time, it wasn't like for you, the decision. It was more for...
Yeah, I think it was more pressured. But I think when I tell you a lot of the things at the academy were pressured.
Yeah.
Especially the branch that I picked. But I did the rugby. I was really involved in like Young Life, so I did like youth leadership. Because I had I went in and out with a lot of like faith and stuff. It was really tough during that time, imagine, right? Because I got desensitized to a lot of things. In that environment, I chose business management because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Honestly, good pick.
Yeah, it's very broad. It was perfect. I was like, this is perfect. At first, I wanted to like going into college, I was like, all right, I want to be an FBI agent, Secret Service, like go to Sam Houston State, do criminal justice, because I did like a summer there, like where they did like forensics and all this. Like I love Criminal Minds, like Law and Order. Come on, like, and so that was my mindset. But I chose business management because it was very broad. I think it was like I did economic management. And I was like, nah, like business management. Let me chill. I ran for class president
at West Point. Wait, okay.
Yeah.
Did you get it? Am I speaking to a president?
I lost the first time.
Okay.
I won the second.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So I ended up losing the first time. Like I said a poem.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I can recite it if you want me to.
I'll tell you if I would have voted for you. Go. I'll hear it.
It's actually pretty good. I wrote this my senior year in high school.
Okay.
All right, so I wasn't ready for this, but I'm ready for it now.
Okay, good. Improvise.
All right, so it's titled "Why Hate When You Can Love," right? Why hate when you can love? I like to just thank the man above for waking me up this morning and starting me on my way. Man, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for another day. Through the highs and lows, he's always been by my side when all I wanted to do is just sit back and hide. Why hate when you can love? It's contagious, can't you see? Your love can spread from sea to shining sea. If he loved us with all his heart, why should we tear his children apart? Hate is the illness and love is the cure. Whoever thought that love could be so pure, just imagine there's so much to endure, for sure love is great. It may even decide your fate. So I hate when you can love. Are you affected when you see someone down, crying all alone with no one around? Give him a hug and show him some love to turn that frown upside down. Love, love, love. Why can't we just love? Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is oh so divine. Love. So why hate when you can love? Son, pull your pants up. No one wants to see that. Stop talking back. There's no need for that. Make your parents proud in everything you do, because they're the ones that love you for you. So why hate when you can love?
Oh my God. First of all, I would have voted for you. Second.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, did you make that poem?
Yeah.
You made that.
Senior year band. I remember Daniel Sabarzo, who's one of my best friends, was like sitting next to me, and we were like, I was like, yo, bro, does this look good? Like, I was like, how does this sound? Because I was like running for Mr. Cinco.
Okay. So, did you get it, Mr. Cinco?
No, I got like third, fourth place. Like there's elite people like Cameron Knott and like Thomas Rugby, like literally all stars, and like Miles Ellis, like
okay.
Like shut up Miles. Like it was, and then me. And so I was like, you know what? I'm a little goofy. Like I can like rhyme, right? And like I got some speaking presence, so I started putting words together, and they start flowing. So I just went with it.
Honestly, you had me almost at tears, and then you lost me whenever.
Right at the end, pull your pants up. Right?
That's probably what lost your.
Yeah, that's what lost me, because I'm still working on that one. There's a deeper meaning to that.
Okay.
Because as an African American, right, a lot of in those African American communities, they have their pants like on their waist and stuff.
Okay.
So it's like more of like for them, like hey, like pull your pants up.
Yes.
Like, and like a lot of that, it goes to like the prison systems and all that blah blah blah. So it's a stretch.
Okay,
right? It's
that makes more sense.
It's different, but
I'll
preference it. I'll put it in like the disclaimer on the bottom. But maybe I can like continue to get the pull and change that for another setting and put something else there to like land it. But whatever, we're all right. It flows.
Now, I'm definitely clipping this as a reel, by the way.
No, I love it.
Wait, also, that was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, love it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm writing a book.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nice.
that was my goal in 2024, and then life.
I also need to write a book, and I have some things written, but I need to like be.
I've heard the story. Yeah.
I need to be in an isolated area for quite some time, be inspired, because it's hard to be inspired, and when you are inspired, I'm like, great, it's 2 a.m. now I gotta write, because when you're not, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. I want to go like away.
Oh yeah.
Like to like some like cabin
Yes.
or like go to like, you know, be a monk or something.
Yeah.
And
just
like
be
vibe.
somewhere for like bye, see you in a couple of months, maybe a year.
Maybe.
Like that would be nice.
Maybe.
Ideal situation.
Yeah, so ideal. I think I'm thinking about it after I get out. Just sabbatical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
So we're gonna rewind where you did not win the presidency.
So did not win
president-elect.
So did not win president-elect, right? And so I after that, right, school was school, right? Business management stuff, it was cool. That kind of rhymed.
It did.
And we had like our class events we would do. And so we have like, you know, yearling winter weekend where we'd bring our dates up, do a military ball type of thing.
Oh, yes.
Right? And so that's a really cool.
Also, if I were to like name drop somebody that I knew that was in your class, would you know? Like, do you know everyone?
Essentially, I probably know a lot of people in the class of
Did you know
2019.
Brittany Scott?
Brittany Scott.
Her last name's now changed, but
she was a class of 2018.
Yes.
Because I went to the prep school.
Oh yes.
I know her really well. She's a good person. Shout out you. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, sweet girl.
She got married. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, I like ran into her once in the street in Austin like 4 years later, and I was like, wait, aren't you at West Point?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I knew her. Bill Waters, he went to Cinco. Matthew Ward.
Yeah.
Great guy. He did like a marathon every single month of the year for mental health.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
I have so much respect for people who can run a marathon.
Yeah, I'm not running at all. I can barely walk to the, you know.
No, we'll talk about this all
whatever.
But we're definitely signing up for a marathon or something.
Yeah, no, that's the goal. Like I really want to do one just to get over that mental.
I want to do it to say I did it. Like,
yeah, facts too.
Before we can't.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Okay, so second year presidency.
Second year presidency, man. I tell you, the amount of people that I met, like it was the coolest thing. Like it was the most humbling thing ever. Right?
What do you mean met?
When people come to West Point, like they.
Oh, you're meeting.
Right, I'm meeting like high like level VIPs.
Yeah.
So when we do our balls, so like when I had the 500 night, which is like 500 nights until graduation, 100 nights till graduation, we're getting VIPs like CEO of like SoFi or something like that. Alex Gorski, CEO of Johnson & Johnson, right? He's coming up. Like we're having to like send, you know, memos out to like have him speak, right? And I'm having to go up there as a class president, introducing these speakers.
Oh, so cool.
Right? And it's really cool. It's dope.
Yeah.
And I'm like meeting like people, and like once when people like come in and like they want tours and stuff, they'll ask me like to do it because like I know, you know, a lot of the people there. And so it was like a really cool eye-opening experience for me, and like just to get in front of be comfortable being around like important people.
Yeah.
Because you're just as important.
Yeah.
They just have like a title and you don't. And so I built my yet. And so they built I started to build that confidence up. Was doing really well, and like rugby was playing all right. I still wasn't fully recovered from my surgery that I had, and I wasn't as confident. So I went in and out of like starting lineups, would play a little bit with the varsity side, then get bumped down to the B side just to like have some more, you know, playing time. And by the time I reached, I had already signed my like, you know, 10 years. So I was like locked in.
Talk about being locked in.
Yeah, I was so locked in, right? And so then, you're right, at that point, it was just like, the boys with the rugby became my like best friends. And we would just like have a great time.
I love that.
We would literally, right? Because West Point's like very strict and everything like that, right? But, we would go to Manhattan, Brooklyn. We'd take the train, 45-minute train to Grand Central Station. Or we would go to the Poughkeepsie. Shout out Marist College. Thank you, Marist College. I have some great friends there that I met, and like literally they housed us.
Wow.
And they were just like really sweet. It was just like, hey, like when y'all come, just make sure you clean and you're respectful to everyone, right? And they were like our little sisters and like our homies that we would take care of. And if anything went down, right, you got like these military men that like literally are doing military training.
Oh yeah, I'm
like, hey, like, whoa, buddy. She said no.
Yeah.
No means no. And so like we would literally like do our thing, and like it, you know, it was fully like respectful. Like I would sleep on their beanbag, and like, you know, every time we would go back, we make like, you know, the hot, you know, freaking, what is it? Hot pockets, not the hot pockets. Pizza rolls.
Yes.
Come on, pizza rolls.
Dino nuggets. The other day.
Dino nuggets, pizza rolls, right? Everything we would clean, cook, like whatever it may be. And so that was like good for us because we were just under this strain, right? As being an athlete there is like, you're not just, being a regular student, you're not just doing military stuff. You're not just doing academics. You're doing physical stuff too.
Yeah.
Your freshman year, you have to take boxing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Play
makes
boxing,
sense.
right? You have to take a hit to the head. The first hit I took to my head, like I was like, Jesus, like I can't do this. I mean, the adrenaline was running, right? But we did that. Combatives, mandatory. You have to do like a swim. Brother.
You don't like swimming?
No, I almost drowned when I was 4 years old in a hot tub.
Oh no.
But like it was because I like was trying to play a game where I like jumped to one side or the other, and I ended up like getting sucked underneath. This like lady in a flower dress saved me. I forgot her name.
Seriously, like you actually were drowning.
Yeah, like I remember I had PTSD of pulling up.
Oh man.
Bubbles, and so full circle. I joined the swim team in 5th grade. Creekstone Gators, 5th grade, most improved swimmer.
Oh, hell yeah.
I have the trophy to prove it, I swear.
I do have a couple records at my neighborhood pool, just saying, South Ranch.
All right, you're creaming. Yeah, you're crushing me. I was in like the worst, like the 4 or 5, like heat or like whatever I don't
Oh, no, I'm not in those heats.
Yeah.
First and second.
Yeah, like now I was in like the low heats. And then now what's cool is my nephew's like on the swim team.
Oh, awesome.
And so I was like, yeah, like you keep swimming, kid. And I ended up saving the kid, at one of the parties because his floaties came up.
Oh,
and I was like, hey, man, like I remember the dive. Like I went in there like with my rhino scratchy shirt. And I saved him. It was cool. Wow. But I'm the yapper.
It's fine, it's fine.
But yeah, we had to swim. And mind you, when I took swim is when I had messed up my knee.
But it's also good for rehab. But was this like still a couple months out?
Yeah, and I didn't know I tore it yet.
Oh.
Right, and so I had to finish the class. So if you don't finish a class, you have to take it the next year, or you'll get like turned back. And so
turn back is in like go home.
Turn back is in go to the previous class.
Oh, gotcha.
Instead of doing like and so your 47-month experience is like added on.
Oh,
imagine that.
Yeah, I was about to say whenever you said 47, I was like, I feel like that's not the number for everyone.
Yeah, it's not the number.
That's
for
the
everyone.
goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. Where it's like, hey, I'm in. I do my thing. I put my head down. I do everything I need to do, and then I'm out of there.
Was yours 47 months?
Oh no, it's plus because I had the prep school.
Okay, well, aside from the prep school.
I was good. Okay. I didn't get in any trouble, right?
Really?
No. I got in trouble, but like, I just,
enough trouble to not want to get in any more trouble.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, he's a good kid.
Yeah, I'm a great kid.
Great guy. You're not a kid anymore.
No, like I was able to like create a reputation where I worked hard.
Yeah.
I held myself accountable. Like when I made mistakes, because you're gonna make mistakes. Like I made many mistakes there, but the one thing I like prided myself on was like, and I pride myself on now is like, I'm gonna own up to it and take accountability of it, no matter how bad it was, no matter what it was. Like like I'm human. We're all human. We're gonna make mistakes, but I think where you get like respect or like where it's like people kind of look at you sideways is when you don't, take accountability for it.
Oh yeah.
Or you repeat the same issue.
Yeah.
When you say like you're going to do something else.
How were you able to own up to the mistakes? Because I also pride myself in that as well. Like I'm very humble enough to be like, okay, I messed up or that wasn't right or something. Like it doesn't sit well with me. Most of the time it's like my moral compass will kind of throw me off or like, itch at me. But I know I have no problem being wrong or not knowing. I'm here to learn and get better. So whatever. Like I'm not going to have a big ego about it. It's probably ego is the word.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest thing is ego. I would say like, what I learned from like one of my like, previous relationships. We're not together now, but like she's an amazing person. And I like, faulted a lot in that relationship because I wasn't healed. And I wasn't like, where I needed to be as like a man, like in general. And I can like own that. But the idea of like letting people down, the idea of like hurting someone else, like to hear I'm disappointed in you, like from a parent, that sucks.
That hurts.
Right?
Yeah.
Or like your friends, like being like, hey, we're worried about you, which happened like, a month or two ago. My best friends like were like, hey man, like they called me. They did like an intervention thing. I was like, yo.
Oh.
Like 3 of them were on the call with me. And it's cool for men too.
Yeah.
Because men like, it's hard to like be vulnerable, right? As men, right? they all called me on the call and they're like, just asking how I was doing. And I was like, that was the coolest thing I've ever experienced. Because like it's easy coming from like your parents or like a, you know, one of your platonic woman friends, but like when it comes from like one of your boys, like it just hits different.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, what prompted them to ask you?
I've been struggling a lot, like mentally, like crying, like posting everything. Like I've started posting my whole life.
I did notice a lot of posting.
Right. So like but it's like for me, my mentality was I need to be fully vulnerable with who I am. Because right now, like being in the recovery unit, I've got like a sports psychologist, a therapist, an occupational therapist, a social worker, and a psychiatrist.
A lot of resources.
A lot of resources that are dope, right? And so I was starting to like be aware because social media, you see the highlights.
Definitely.
Of everything, right? And I did that. I used to do that in like high school, college.
Yeah.
Because I could do that.
A lot of people do that too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to post or show the bad stuff.
Yeah.
And keep it authentic, like keep it real.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I started to just get real. I started to like be like, you know what? This is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm going to say. F it. Fuck it. Like,
because people can relate with that.
Yeah, people can relate with that. Like, if you're telling me, like, I used to be the very positive guy. Like, oh, positive, nice. Like, it's all going to get better. Like, we got this. No, this shit sucks. And, like, that's okay. But we got to sit in it. It's not going to be forever. Like, I bed rotted, like, in my room for, like, 3-4 months where I couldn't even shower, brush my teeth, cook. Like, I would just shit and, like, piss and go to sleep for, like, months. Because it was a combination of like working out. It was like a combination. I couldn't work out. I had my second infection, which I know we skipped over a lot of things, but like I had my second shoulder infection.
We do have time, and
yeah,
because I think I know why, but that was from your car incident. Is that
no?
correct?
It's different. Ooh. Yeah, so it was another thing on top of all that shit.
Yeah,
and so I think, like I. You know, it was like, I'm going to be fully vulnerable because now I can reach other people.
Exactly.
Right. I was on like TikTok, like doing lives every single day. And I built this like Discord community of like, we call ourselves the Grippy Sock Gang.
The what?
Grippy Sock Gang.
Okay.
Right. Because like you get the grippy socks when you go to the freaking, you know what I'm saying? I'm being real. Like, yo, like, and people related with that. They're like, yo, like I've been to a mental, I was a psych ward, like I went to a partial hospitalization program. So there's therapy, PHP, and then there's like, I'll call it like a mental hospital, respectfully, right? Because like I visited mental hospitals where my friend went because someone didn't believe that, you know, she was sexually assaulted. So she spiraled, which makes sense, right? But like that hurt, that sucked. Seeing my friend in a psych ward where people thought she was crazy and she wasn't. She just wasn't being like believed with like everything that was going on. And so I believed her, right? But yeah, like I just started, you know, putting my heart on my sleeve, and like, you know, I messed up my relationship, and like I didn't own like a lot of things. So I did the work. Like I put my money where my mouth was. Like I became a man and owned my stuff, right? I started doing like the, you know, Bible studies here and there, but I just started journaling. I started just really listening to my therapist and what he had to tell me and taking that to heart and practicing it every single day.
How often were you getting this help? Or are you like?
I'm still am. Like I go to my therapist every week.
Yeah, I think it's so helpful to be like on
everyone
a weekly
needs
schedule.
Therapy. Everyone needs therapy.
I agree. Yeah,
everybody.
I agree. And if you think you don't need it, you're the one who needs it the most.
You're the worst. You're the issue. And so like, you know, like I meet with my therapist every week, my sports psychologist every week, my social worker every 4 weeks. But whenever I need, I can do drop-ins. I did a drop-in like last week.
Love that.
My psychiatrist every 4 weeks because like I'm on antidepressants right now. And so they do 30 days. Yeah. And then they like, all right, how are you feeling type of thing. And then I meet with a TBI specialist on top of all that. Because
what does that stand for?
Traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
So that was the accident. I got a traumatic brain injury from that accident. And that's where like kind of, I think, spiraled a lot of the, because neurology, like, you know, neurology, all that stuff, right? Yeah. The brain's so complex. Yes. And I love it. Like, that's why I want to study clinical psychology, because you can just emotions and things can tick you off, and people's different traumas can project onto you in so different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to like be empathetic, but still like stand on your business. It's hard. It's
yeah.
tough. It's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean, yeah, I got my bachelor's in psychology and I thought
Yeah.
I was going to go to clinical route and I didn't. I ended up like playing a little bit more and I was considering it.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting my master's in sport and performance psychology.
Yeah.
So now I'm like ending or nearing the end of my CMPC, which is Certified Mental Performance Coach hours, which are honestly would equip me to mentor military personnel or athletes, really like CEOs, military and athletes.
Yeah, I think that's dope.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to you about that. That's something that might be interested in.
Yeah, but I do have a question. How are these resources made available to you?
So I think what the military does really great, and they do a lot of things great.
Mm-hmm.
They resource that to you like for the day you come in there, right?
Okay.
They're like, hey, like this is our behavioral health officer. This is where you can go to seek help with like marriage counseling.
Yeah.
Or psychiatry, like Darnell, like there's all these areas, right? And so they tell you, where you can go. It's just up to you to, right? The first time
it's kind of hard. You're like, okay, you have all these resources and you're like, okay, well, I might not need that or something.
Yeah, and like I think it's great, but what sucks is like you're so busy and like you have so much training to do. Like, so it's like, yeah, I know where I need to go, but this person needs this at this certain time and I got to lock in. Mm-hmm. And so, but that's turns into an everyday thing. This person needs this thing at a certain time and I got to lock in. But then you stop, you end up having to push things to the right. So the thing that you had to do today is pushed to tomorrow, and then it piles.
Yep.
And then it piles. And by the end of the week, you're like, damn.
How do you deal with it then? You got to a breaking point?
I got to a breaking point. I snapped. I did really well for 3 years when I was in North Carolina because I was like a platoon leader.
What do you mean really well, though?
I was able to manage soldiers really well.
Okay.
And I managed myself what I thought was really well. Because if you think about it, I had the accident, I had other things going on, but I still was performing in a worldly standards really well. Internally, probably not too well. So that's, yeah.
I'm sorry, not to discredit. I'm not trying to say you didn't do well.
No,
I'm just curious, like
right.
how you define it.
You're right.
It's kind of like, it's going to be like a bad analogy, but it's like, just to say like a college student going through stuff and they're performing well, like maybe they're a student athlete, their grades are the best they've ever been, they're having the best season of their life,
But they're depressed.
Or things are, at home. Like,
can you just explain me? That was literally my whole year, like all of like my West Point career. Like I was good. Like, so going into, senior year, I'll like rewind a little bit. Going into senior year, right? Imagine like, right, class president.
Yeah.
Second in command at West Point. I got like elected as being the deputy commanding like officer. So there's a first captain and then there's me.
Wow.
Right. And I have like a 2.7, 2.8 at this time. I'm not the smartest kid, right? But this officer told me, I remember the BTO at the time, he said, Tony, I don't know what it is, but you just have a way with talking with people and people feel comfortable talking to you. Mm-hmm. So I need you to be the glue when you go up there. And when I tell you these kids were elite, like this is why I went to West Point, to be around these guys. Like the dude, like that was the first captain, valedictorian, like Schwartzman scholar, roommate, Truman scholar. Literally the whole row was like either Truman, Schwartzman, like all like top 50, top 100 in the school.
That's incredible.
And then there's me. Just vibing. I'm just vibing. I was like, y'all want to go to the bar? Like, you want to get a drink? And we're just vibing. I was like, I try to keep them sane because I'm telling you, like, I would literally sit there and just try to soak up their knowledge. I'm like, yo, like, how did you get 100? They're like, oh man, I got a 92. I said, bro, I got a 49. I'm cooked. Like, can you help me? And so they would help me. And then I'd be like, hey, like, y'all want to go out? And they're like, we got this paper. I said, put that paper aside. Like, I can wait. You're still going to get it freaking
Are you the glue or are you the devil on the shoulder?
Define that, though, because I made those. I got invited to one of their weddings.
Oh, nice.
And I turned that thing up. They're like, thank you so much for coming. I said, of course. Because, like, you know, like, when you're that smart, right, there's only, like, sometimes people don't understand you. But I think what was cool is being around a lot of, like, smart people, because they think they're just, like, insane. Like, you know, the smart, you know, philosophers in this world, they're cool. Like, they're just, you know, a little geeky, a little quirky, like, that they're my friends. Like, I love those people.
Yeah, those are my favorite type of people.
Yeah, they're so quirky, but, like, so smart. And, like, they have, like, the funniest jokes, but they're, like, smart, like, funny jokes. I'm like, dude.
Witty. Yeah.
So witty.
I
said, I see you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I see you, girl. Dang, that was clever. You were quiet, though. Speak up. Like, come on. Go pop off.
That's, like, my favorite type of person.
Yeah, and then, like, there's the quietest people, but, like, cool. So cool. And so I got to be around different people that I never would probably hang out with in my life. And I think, like, that was cool. And then, you know, I went to, like, NASDAQ. I spoke on the stock market on NASDAQ. I got to ring the bell at, like, the Giant Stadium. I met President Trump.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, at the Army-Navy game. I met the whole cabinet.
Wow.
Right? I did everything that, you know, when a VIP came, like, it was like either, you know, David or me, and he was doing his, like, scholarship stuff, so he was always busy, so it was me. But during that same time, I came into this thing where I could literally, like, put on a mask and be performative and, like, show up.
Yep.
I would, like, you know, chug, like, a glass of, like, wine, because we had, like, wines at, like, our balls, and, like, lock in. And then my anxiety would go, like, all the way through the roof. I'd take a couple of breathing exercises, and then I would go in, because I'm speaking in front of thousands of people. Yeah. Like, plus, like, maybe, like, the minimum was 1,000.
I was going to say your public speaking was great, and your speaking in general was great.
We're cooking. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Shout out my mom, because she threw me into it.
I was going to say, to yourself.
to me. Thank you, me. It's okay. I can say it.
But also, thanks,
Mom. Yeah, my mom, like, threw me into the ringer. But I appreciate her. And my dad, of course. But yeah, like, my senior year I was locked in. I was like, but mind you, this is where this shit hit the fan. I was going to my senior year, first practice, broke my thumb.
Ooh.
Brennett's fracture on my left thumb.
Oh.
My best friend did it. My co-captain.
How?
Because of our coach. I love you, coach, by the way. This is not it's not a knock on you. But we went in, and it's not his fault, but we went at 50%. Because, like, we're not trying to hurt each other. Yeah. And he's like, oh, like, let's go. Like, keep going. Like, you got to go faster. You got to go harder. And so we did that. And mind you, this is not his ill intent, but, like, we went harder, and I snipped my thumb on the pad going full speed, and I broke it on impact. Oh. I was like, damn. Senior year. Sad. And so that put me through, like, a little spiral. I'm in my senior year. I got to wear this big-ass cast. I still had fun. Like, I would still go out, but I literally, like, just use it as a void now. I'm using alcohol as a void. I'm using, like, trying to talk to other women as a void because I can't do what I want to do. And then don't even get me started with, like, the religious piece. I wasn't even, like, going to, you know, church or anything because I was locked in on other things. I was too busy.
But those were your ways of coping.
Yeah, those were my ways of coping. And then, you know, going into my spring senior year, our guys get in trouble. Like, our sophomores get in trouble. Alcohol incident, right? Underage drinking. Ooh. And so I have to deal with that. I've got important people coming up to me saying, hey, like, what's going on, Tony, like, with your team? I'm like, not sure. Because we had other incidents, you know, before with our team in the past that we had to build our culture. Yeah. The Army Rugby was like, it was the rugby team, I'd say, like, the wrestling team, and, like, the swimmers, like, and even the gymnasts. But, like, the rugby team was very well known. You know, men's rugby team has, like, one of, like, the elite teams and, like, very well respected. Like, the football players respected us, which the football players were, you know, we praised them there, you know, everyone praised them, but they're, you know, great guys. But yeah, like I essentially, did other things to cope for a long, like throughout my year. And then I had to deal with like people getting in trouble. And that was like a thing where, once you get in trouble, right, you do the hours, but you're sitting in front of like a board of like colonels, like important, like grown men and women. And you have to tell them, hey, this person is good. Like if this person, this is outside their character, right? This isn't a part of their character.
Right.
Right. And so they had like a weak moment or something like that.
Yeah. Also, we're good on time.
Okay,
Don't worry.
sweet. Yeah. So like they had a weak moment. And this isn't to define their character. So you're speaking for these people, right? And you expect them to like, follow through.
Yeah.
With what you're saying because it's your word against, I'm putting my word up there and I'm in this position in this very like visible position, like you gotta follow through. And so people didn't follow through.
Yeah.
So they got in trouble again. My second semester,
Are you a captain on this team?
Yeah.
Is that why you had this responsibility?
Yeah, I was captain.
Okay.
And mind you, I'm a captain that's hurt. So now I'm admin guy. Right?
Yeah.
I'm admin guy. I get and that, which is fine. My best friend, Drew, he's doing the team stuff and I get that. And I'm admin. Like I gotta make sure buses are where they need to be and like hotels are where they, are good. And like admin administration with like, school, who's failing, who's in trouble. Right. And so I didn't mind that role because everyone has a role on their team. And it's just as important as the star that I had to figure out real quick.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be the star, but I figured out that I was a team guy.
Amen.
Right? I'm a team guy.
Amen to everyone has a part in the team.
Yeah, that part. And I think that's what I learned as a captain is like, hey, like, I don't care if like you're the guy that's a team manager.
Yeah.
He shows up every single day, picks up after all our shit. When we want to complain, like if you're going to, he's just as, valuable as the star. Right. And so I had to really pride myself on that because I wanted to be the star so bad. But I was the setter upper. Like I would make other people look good, or I would like take the hits that I need to take for other people to look good. And I had to like be okay with that, which took me a while up until like probably like recently. And so, mind you, fast forward, they get in trouble again.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And I get an email. The only way I found out is I get an email. So it was a class weekend, right? And they had an Airbnb and they had a party at the Airbnb. And the people that were there, they, to this day, they didn't do it. I understand, whatever. Perception's reality. You have a house, you literally, there's names are in the house. So it's your responsibility to take care of it. We have done that. Like we've been had fun in houses. We were adults. Someone made a mess. We cleaned up after the mess. We made sure everything was good. No problem, right? But for you to get an Airbnb like person saying we're never going to sell or we're never going to rent out to any cadets ever again, right? And make a whole like little review thing. And then someone that has that house for 100th night, which is our senior year, gets canceled on. And then he's like salty and doesn't want to talk. This is no shade, but this is what happened. He's salty and he doesn't want to talk to, have a conversation until he writes a negative COR, which is a negative spot report that goes to your whole chain of command and all your coaches. So he wrote that up and he's like, yeah, like, this is what happened at the Airbnb. This is what they said. They said there might have been drinking going on and like there was all this stuff and they trashed to like X. They did this, and this. Sent email at night, Sunday night. I'm getting ready for the week. I got a big week. I got some tests going on. Like, I'm like, let's go, let's cook. Nah. Boom, get the email. Coach gets the email. Literally, the whole chain of command gets the email. I'm like, yeah, sick. I'm getting texts. Like, what's going on, bro? I said, they showing up to my room crying. I'm like, bro, don't. I said, what are you crying about? Because you fucked up again.
Oh, no.
Right? And like, mind you, right, I had to be big bro. I had to be big brother. I had to give you tough love and still give you that conversation. And so it turned into this whole thing of like, people had to admit to it or not. And they were like, I'm not saying nothing. right? And it's just now it's like we're a brotherhood, right? And now I gotta be part of the brotherhood, but I still gotta like stand on business and be honorable because now it's my career.
Yeah.
You've literally went against my word already
Yeah.
once, and now I look stupid. So it's like now you're embarrassing me,
Right.
in my character.
Yeah.
And so I had to like, we had long conversations, and long story short, they ended up admitting to it because they're great men and great guys, and they did wonder, and they're still great guys, and I have no ill intent towards them because they're human and we make mistakes.
Yeah.
And now they're crushing in the Army. Like they literally, some of them like Ranger Regiment, like Ranger Tab, like badass dudes that can probably like take me now, be like, hey, this is for like school. I'm like, all right, bro, chill out. All right, chill out. I was just doing my job.
Yeah.
But no, they're all badass men, and I love each and every one of them. And I think what they did was honorable, and I'm glad they did it because they learned a lot of lessons. And then mind you, 2-3 years later, they won a national championship.
Oh wow.
Which to me,
that's crazy.
I was a little salty because my whole senior season was tarnished because we had. Right, a lot of players get hurt. These were our sophomores, some of the best guys that we had. They were all recruited. They couldn't play. And some were like, got sent to the Army mentorship program, where if you get in trouble at West Point, they'll send you to the Army for like 2-3 years. And then you come back and then you have to graduate. Here's your options. Or you can get turned back a year and have to, graduate with the class below you. Or you can like get, retained in class if, you're doing well, or like get kicked back like another semester, or you just get kicked out.
I feel like I would be so disciplined if I were there.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what people don't understand is like, if you tell me I got to just like do this, be wear in the right uniform and everything like that, it's that simple, right?
Yeah.
And you're good.
But then also like the fear of consequences would probably.
Scary. That's what got me. It was like the fear of consequences. Like,
yeah. It is a motivating factor.
Yeah, it's a motivating factor. And so like when you think about this could happen to me if I like cheated or lied or did this, right?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna behave.
Yeah. And so I was literally around people that just wanted to behave my senior year. So it was good because I was like, okay, like I really gotta lock in. Did I do all the right things? No. I'm human. Like, but I was smart and like I was tactful, and that's life. It's chess, not checkers. So senior year was great. Like after that happened, I had to deal with all that. And then obviously the, relationship issues. What the one thing that I struggled with was like relationships because I was so busy.
Like romantic relationships or just like friendships as well?
Both. I would say romantic and platonic because I was so locked in on my craft and so locked in on like climbing the ladder or like doing really well.
Yeah.
And I would say that what I've discovered in therapy is like some of my childhood trauma is not having like emotional like stability or emotional intelligence as a child, because it was always about like, hey, what are we doing to set ourselves up better for college? What are we doing to set ourselves up better to play on the field or be successful? And so that turned into, hey, like this relationship's great and this feels great, but there's probably something out there better, right? And like it changed my mentality, or like, hey, like, oh, like I need to be empathetic towards these things because you see it from this direction, but I really don't care because I like want it my way. And like, hey, like you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like this is not how this works. So it's like being able to like be more gentle and like with myself and understand emotional intelligence as a man was tough, right? Because it's like you're at a type A school with a bunch of type A men telling you like to do this and like, oh, and mind you, when you're there, you're competing for your rank. You're competing for your branch. You're competing for where you're going to go post, like across the country. And so I ended up branching infantry, all right, because I drank the Kool-Aid. I was going to be an airborne ranger. I'm jumping out of planes. Send me now. Isaiah 6:8. I wanted to go to Afghanistan literally right afterwards. I said, I'm ready. Like, let's go. And then
you did?
No.
Okay, I said no, right?
I was ready. I was like, no. God had different plans, and I ended up tearing my pec again. All right, the first time. 3 months from graduation. First scrimmage
Wow.
of the of
A lot of
the year,
injuries.
right? So it's like 3 injuries, right?
Oh, God.
Torn knee, broken thumb, torn pec, but the broken thumb, torn pec senior year, and that was like tarnishing on top of everything else. And so I ended up having to recover. I graduated on time with my class because of...
I don't know how, because I feel like we've been talking for about 10 years in 1 year.
I know, I'm telling you, yeah. There's so much stuff that other happened, but yeah, it felt like it bit like 5-10 years on me.
Holy cow.
And I barely graduated.
What do you mean barely graduated?
Not barely graduated,
Like,
but like
grade-wise?
grade-wise was fine.
Okay.
I had a 299, and I was pissed.
Oh.
Because I took Chinese my sophomore year. Ni hao ma. Like,
Hey, useful.
hey, no facts. No, like literally, I love Chinese history. Like I took Chinese history as a freshman, and then I took like Mandarin, like with the pinging and the strikes. Right? Can I have a conversation now? Probably not. But when people like talk, when I went to Nashville for New Year's, there's this Taiwanese couple there, and I like said hi to them because they were learning about. I was at the National African American Museum for like music. And I was like happy they were there. Like, you got this like Asian couple like learning about Black history. That's lit.
That's pretty cool.
Happy Black History Month, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, like, and I spoke to them in like Mandarin, and they
That's
like
cool.
you could see their eyes light up.
Yeah,
And so that was like pretty cool.
that is pretty dope.
But yeah,
Fun fact.
Chinese ruined my GPA.
Oh, that was the .01.
Yeah, that was the .01. I should have had a 3.0.
That hurts.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
No, I was going to say is that we probably got a good like 10, 15 minutes left. But since you are close, is there a chance that we could do a part 2?
1,000%.
Yay.
Yeah, I'll definitely
yeah, because
come back.
there's definitely like, I know there's more to your story. There's more to your story. I am curious, and I want to give you the time and
I appreciate it.
because I know that people will gain invaluable
I appreciate it.
advice from this and
This
insight.
is easy. I'm chilling.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
It's
it's
like
just
we're having conversation.
I know, yeah. But we do have time a little
Okay.
bit. So,
Where do you want us to like focus on?
well, there's a lot of things I want to focus on, but just since we're kind of going in chronological order, we could like stick to post grad. Like,
Okay, post grad.
you said you went to infantry.
Yeah. So no, I ended up getting hurt, so I did a medical waiver
Okay.
to transfer. Pretty much like my branch. So I did I had to get a medical waiver to graduate, and so then I transferred. I sent a request for medical reasons to transfer from infantry to logistics, our quartermaster.
Okay.
Because one, it was a lot more smart. It was smarter. That's a better word. And two, it's more marketable. Like if I wanted to get out of the Army, I could see it be like, hey, I did logistics. I've done supply chain management.
I think that anyone would really take you anyway, but I
Regardless,
see what you're saying.
Yeah, I saw the vision, and then I had a lot of mentors saying like, hey, like you should do this. So, so originally I had branched infantry, and I was headed to Fort Carson, Colorado, and I was excited. I love Colorado. It's so beautiful. And then, had to stay for a year. So I was like a med holdover. So what was cool as being a med holdover is I stayed there for about
Where's there?
West Point.
Okay.
So I stayed up at West Point when everybody graduated. I stayed up there.
But you graduated also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, with my class. And I had to like, give the
Speech.
yeah. So
I'm sure. Could I look this up? Is it on
Yeah,
YouTube?
probably. Yeah.
Okay. Just this one. Right?
So at the graduation, I had to give the I think it was a vice president, I think it was Pence. You had to give him a sword, a saber. I was like, on behalf of the United States Military Academy, I present you with this saber as a token of appreciation.
Tony, this is so cool. This is really cool.
Yeah, like, and I think when I talk about it, I think where the psychology aspect of like, I became numb to like a lot of like things. It just became like another like thing to me. But when I look back now, I'm like, damn, like,
Yeah.
man, like Trump, like he sat behind me, and then like I, spoke to like General like Milley, and like hung out with 3 stars from like Britain, and like just like like CEOs, and like it was just like Jocko Willink, he came.
Wow.
Jocko, and then Reese Witherspoon, she came. Like,
Okay.
what's up, Reese? Can I get a picture? I didn't get a picture. But
No, that's
like really
very
cool.
cool.
Like it was like so cool to be around it, because like you felt like you deserve to be there, and you were at the table. So I think it built my confidence when I was younger.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to prove everything. And then now I'm like, hey, like you're here. Like you deserve to be here.
Yes.
I think that's where like my confidence started to build.
Good.
Yeah. And so I did the athletic internship. So I worked this was the best job I had in the Army, minus being platoon leader. I was an athletic intern for the Rabble Rousers, aka the cheerleading team at West Point.
Okay.
Best job in the world. Best job in the world. Shout out Coach Matt Fay. I love you to death. I love that man so much. I think he's the head coach at the Duke. He's a Duke cheerleading team.
Okay.
I'll see you next week, hopefully. But no, like I did that, and then I did 3 things because I could never do one thing.
I'm about to say yeah.
I'd be doing too much. So I ended up coaching the prep school rugby team. So I came back and did like the prep school rugby team with like one of my Coach Katz, who's awesome. And then I was worked in the Center of Enhanced Performance, doing like administrative stuff with like sports psychology stuff. And that was like the coolest thing I did, because I was able to do something I was turned into where I was in the program for like 3 or so years, starting to be like, hey, like this is kind of what I want to do type of thing. And so I did that from 2019-ish to 2020. Yeah, 2020 until COVID hit. And that was rough.
That's a
COVID in New York.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, but it was cool because we traveled a lot with the cheerleading team. We went to Georgia, Colorado,
wow,
Michigan, Ann Arbor, the big house. I was on the field for all these games. Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
WVU, pretty good. We got beat by them, but there was nothing there, but like they knew how to party and they had a Waffle House. So, and then Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
I went to Hawaii.
For like there was a game there?
Yeah.
What game?
Army played Hawaii.
Oh.
University of Army, yeah. Or West Point, not University. That was cool. I went skydiving for the first time in Hawaii.
That's sick.
So I started taking just more risk because I was like, I'm out of West Point. I'm out of this structure. Now I got to figure out how to be an adult. And that was rough.
That is a whole transition.
Because like when people go to college, right? When Daniel, he went to, Texas A&M, he's like just living. He's like, yeah, man, like just chilling. About to take a nap here, like just chill. May not go to this class or not.
Yeah.
What do you mean may not go to this class, bro? What do you mean, bro?
You have options?
You have options now, bro?
You get to decide what you want to do.
Yeah. You went to where? And we were in the middle of nowhere. So we had this like small town called Holland Falls, who's a great town, but like the biggest thing, like franchise they had was like McDonald's.
Wow.
And then they had like some small like spots here and there.
Love goodies.
Yeah, we loved myself, you know what I'm saying? Chicken biscuit, you know what I'm saying? Some nuggets. Come on now. On a late night.
Your laugh is
funny.
Yeah.
Or a late night, you know what I'm saying? Shout out their fries though.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best fries ever.
Come on now.
Always will be.
Yeah, come on. Stop playing with me. And so, I'm sorry. But literally we would have to drive 30 minutes plus to go somewhere. So like we had curfew every single night.
Yeah.
11:30, 23:30 in military time. All right.
My dad likes to do that to me, and I'm like, what time? I'm like,
like, I need you here.
I know.
200 hours.
He'll like text me. I'm like, oh, great.
Tony, hello?
No, I know. I mean, yeah, I just threw that in there because he did that the other day.
Really?
And I was like, my game's at 4:00 and it's like, what,
1600?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, we love Siobhan. Hey, shout out to your dad.
Yeah, shout out Luis.
Good. I love that. 1600.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets me fired up. I love that. W dad. Yeah, so like we did that for like a year and I loved it. I had to do a lot of logistic stuff. And then I did like goal setting for cadets.
Oh, I love that.
I
love a good
Smart
goal
goals.
setting.
Come on, let's lock it. Is this realistic? Is this time based?
Yeah, you know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's my stuff. I love it. And so we would do like a little 8x11 sheet, and I would like break it into like physical, professional, like personal, and we just go in right. And then I learned it with my sports psychologist, Coach Snow. he's like, you know, you need like process and progress goals to your main goal. Like this goal is great, but like, how are you gonna get there?
Yeah.
And so learning from her, and then like learning from like a lot of the psychologists there, I did that with the cadets. And I was able to work with them, and I became like, I geeked out on it. I was like, I love it. I was like, and I would put like their little background, little motivation on there. It would be a whole thing, laminated and everything. I'm like, yo, you need to hang this up.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And look at it every day.
Yeah.
Because this is you. So it's like, you're letting yourself down, not me down. You're like, I'm going to be sad, but I'm investing in you. But at the end of the day, it's you. Like, you got to lock in for yourself. I can't help you. So that was so much fun. And that's why I'm at where I'm at now. But did that, and then the rugby thing. And so I got to full circle. Yes, I did not play, right? But I didn't play my senior year, but I got to invest in like where I started playing rugby at. Full circle 5 years later.
That's so cool.
And it was the most like rewarding thing.
Yeah.
And I still talk to some of those guys to this day. And so we didn't have like a big schedule. We would just play like the team down the hill, which we would say, but they would play their third side, fourth side team, but we would do well. And it was really cool to just like coach them and develop them because I was in their shoes, and I became a guy that was a walk-on, a nobody, to a captain. I said,
that is a story.
Right? And
that's
like there's kids that came into there recruited. Like really good, like elite athletes, like played for the junior Olympic team, all this other stuff. But like it's a true testament of like, hey, like you're never like out, right? You gotta like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I kept that mentality. And like when I been like mentoring people now, because I had a couple of people like reached out, they're like, hey, can you like talk to my son? I said, absolutely. Yeah. And I was like, hey, like you gotta keep this mentality, like, you know, you gotta eat, or else it's survival of the fittest at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it really is.
Someone's gonna eat. It's either gonna be you or him.
Yeah.
And not in like a malicious way, but like this is the world. Life is horrible. Like it's tough. Yeah. Right. You're gonna get chewed up, spit out. How are you gonna respond? Like exactly the issue. Like you're gonna get punched in the face. Yes. Right. It's all about how you react. Yeah. Are you gonna fight back, or are you just gonna like Yes.
You're just like spitting right now.
Yeah. No fact.
I mean, it's so true.
It's my like, and I had to learn.
It's nice because I know this from like my background, but to hear it from you, just it's a testament to you got like, you have to.
And I think I like was such a not victim, but like I think we all have fallen into the victim mentality. And I was like, man, like why me? Like why? I got all these injuries. I worked so hard. Like I was ready to like cook. Yeah. Like, especially after my second like surgery, like after I left, I was like, I'm good. Like what, like why God? Like why? Yeah. Like I'm pissed. Yeah. Like I'm supposed to be here. Like him there, I was faster than him. Yeah. Before I was hurt. Like we were running sprints, like, you know, but now I can't run the sprints because like obviously like, but I'm like, I was so pissed. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like what's going on?
Like what's going on? Did I like, is this my karma? Like, what is it?
It's funny because like life is a game, and honestly, like it's kind of interesting putting it into perspective because again, I say the similar thing about like my podcast and my experience and my career with soccer, but I kind of sat there and had a moment like, why me? And I'm not like a why me person. I'm like, okay, how do I fix this? How do I change this? Like, let's move on. But for some time I felt like victim and I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, why am I getting beat down? Like, why is this happening to me? Why? Yeah. And then I started like change my perspective and I was like, okay, well, this clearly is because there's a different path, there's a different purpose for me, or this is going to be used for something greater. Yeah. And I knew that, I just didn't know what it would look like. And I feel like I finally know what it looks like now, and it comes in the form of a podcast, it comes in the form of consulting with athletes, and it comes in the form of coaching and kind of giving back. But like all of your experiences go into what you're doing now. Yeah,
exactly. You like define your own story essentially.
Yeah. And for you right now, I mean, you nailed it earlier when you said like that you go on live on TikTok, or you like created this community, and it's honestly like it's funny, but like you're relatable, and people want to hear that. People need to hear that, and to be able to have some sort of platform to like just reach a broader audience is so impactful. And, you know, I get it with like small texts. Like if one person listened to this and they texted me and was like, hey, this was great. Like, thank you so much. Like, we love Tony. Like, I'm going to reach out to him. I would be like, thank God. Like that it was worth, you know what I mean? Not that it wouldn't be worth it, but like just to be able to hear it every now and then. Yes.
Sometimes you just need one.
Yeah.
And I think that you're right. Like at first, right, it became like, oh, grippy sock gang. Like, this is funny, right? We got the grip. But then I start getting the messages.
Yes.
Of like, hey, like you literally saved my life.
Yeah.
Like having this community, you like being like so open and bringing other people in. I was depressed and about to give up. That's heavy.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And so like that in my mind, I'm like, okay, like if someone thinks this is silly or like I'm like doing too much, I'm really not, because I've got people that are like lives are just being changed.
Yeah.
That are starting to like go back to church. That are starting to believe in themselves, work out again. Like males, females, like just people that like have been persecuted or SA victims, right? Like domestic violence victims, where it's like, hey, like one word can like have them crash out and like not be here.
Yeah.
And so it's serious to me. I take it serious.
Yeah.
And I like when I show up, it's fun, right? I'm doing this every day, but like it's serious to me. Like this is like my purpose of like, I love doing this and it's fun. Like, yeah, like I'm getting the views and the likes and like, but I tell like, and they do like, they send out like coins and stuff, but I'm like, it's not about the coins, it's about the connection. Like we're building something deeper than this. Like we're changing lives by just having fun. I play a little music, like 80s, 90s, like Mick Jagger, like that type of thing, and just vibe and dance around. And we have like I don't know if I should say it. I'm gonna say it. Okay. So it's like every morning, like when someone joins a team, I go in there. I'm like, all right, guys, this isn't a team. This isn't an organization. This isn't a chat. This isn't a cult, right? This is a family, right? We spread love, not hate. We elevate and we don't discriminate, right? We celebrate and educate because that is our fate. We listen and we don't judge. I go like this.
TikTok.
We listen and I'm here on TikTok right now. We listen and we don't judge. We take accountability, ownership, and we stand on business. And then I go and I'm like, from like South Korea to California, from Texas to Pakistan, Michigan, Ohio, right? Because all these people are in like different places. Yeah. I'm like, it doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter where you are. We're gonna elevate you. We're gonna lift you up, right? We're gonna do everything we can to like build you to like where you need to be, right? And if you got issues with it, like if you're bringing that negativity in here, you need to call God, your therapist, your parents, like, or you gotta call yourself, because like, don't call me. Yeah. Don't call me, because that's your own projections and insecurities. So I say that every single time.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And like there's these like funny like guy from like Indonesia and this guy from Pakistan, and my friend Helen, she's like because his name is Monsoon and the other guy's Melissan. He's like, from Monsoon to Melissan. And it's just like this guy from Indonesia and a guy from Pakistan, but like we're in and out, like we turned international, like as something that is like just fun. And we like listen to music, and like I've literally locked in with like a lot of people, like, and like they're becoming like some of my best friends. I like met them like maybe 2 or so weeks ago.
That's awesome.
But it's crazy who you meet and like how the impact they can have in your life.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. So
yeah. Let's leave this episode on a cliffhanger.
Okay, got it.
And it's up to you to decide what cliff we hang from. I also do want to say, like, you're such a cool dude, and I'm so excited to have you here.
No, thank you.
And I really appreciate your time, and I feel like it's an honor to be speaking with you.
No, this is an honor being here. I'm so happy that you gave me the space to kind of do this, and like it's freeing, it's healing for me. But let me preface this, because we're California. Imagine that's COVID and you're in New York living by yourself in your own apartment.
Ooh.
Yeah. Imagine that.
And we'll be back.
And we'll be back.
And happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.